The casino station floated like a jeweled beast in open space, its lights shining across the black void. Ships of every shape and size docked along its rings. Inside, sound and color mixed together, music from 100 worlds, voices speaking 1,000 languages, the soft hum of energy shields holding everything together. At the center of it all sat the dragon boss. He was enormous, even by draconic standards. His scales were dark red, edged with gold, each one older than many civilizations. His wings were folded tightly behind him, their tips marked with scars from wars long forgotten. Fire burned quietly in his chest, not visible but always present. The air around him felt heavy like pressure before a storm. Everyone in the casino knew who he was. They also knew the rules. Do not stare. Do not approach. Do not speak unless spoken to. Violating any of these rules meant death. Slow, fast, loud, or quiet, it depended on the dragon boss's mood. Tonight, the dragon boss was hosting a private meeting at the highest table, raised above the casino floor. Crime lords, smugglers, information dealers, and corporate predators sat around him, pretending to relax while measuring every breath. Deals worth planets were discussed casually, as if they were talking about weather. Below them, servers moved through the crowd. One of them was human. Her name was Mara Lynn, though no one here knew it. To the casino, she was just another waitress in a plain uniform, carrying drinks and folded napkins. Humans were common on stations like this, cheap labor, adaptable, easy to replace. Most powerful species barely noticed them. Mara noticed everything. She had learned to do that long before she ever stepped onto this station. Humans survived by paying attention. They survived by seeing patterns, by feeling when something was wrong even if they could not explain why. She moved carefully, not slow, not fast, just normal. Normal was safe. As she approached the dragon boss's table, her pulse stayed steady. Fear would get her killed. Fear made movements sharp, eyes darting. She kept her gaze low, respectful, focused on her task. She placed a crystal glass filled with glowing amber liquid in front of one of the guests, then another. Then she reached the dragon boss. Up close, his presence was overwhelming. The heat from his body warmed the air. His eyes, ancient and sharp, reflected every light in the room. If he looked directly at her, he would see everything she was. He did not look at her. To him, she was nothing. And that was why she was still alive. As she set his glass down, she noticed the detail that made her chest tighten. The waiter standing behind the dragon boss was wrong. At first, it was nothing obvious. The uniform was correct. The posture was perfect. The species matched the staff records, a tall reptilian humanoid with green scales and gold-trimmed sleeves. But he stood too still. Real staff shifted their weight. They adjusted their stance when the dragon boss moved. They reacted, even subtly, to the danger of standing near him. This one did not. Mara watched the reflection in a polished table edge as she pretended to smooth a napkin. The fake waiter's left side stayed angled slightly forward. His left arm hung closer to his body than the right. His breathing was slow, controlled, trained. And there, just beneath the uniform seam, was a faint distortion. A concealed weapon field. Her mind clicked pieces together fast. Assassin, close range, left side draw. Security should have caught him. Scanners, psychic sweeps, biosign checks, all of them had failed, but humans were good at noticing what machines missed. Mara's hands did not shake, her face did not change. Panic would help no one. She picked up a clean napkin from her tray. With a borrowed pen, she wrote quickly, her handwriting small and clear. Listen, fake waiter, armed, left side. She folded the napkin once. When she placed the dragon boss's glass down, she slid the napkin beneath it, hidden unless someone deliberately looked. Then she stepped back and continued on her route as if nothing had happened. Her heart started pounding only after she had put distance between herself and the table. If she was wrong, she would be punished. If she was right, she might still be punished. Either way, she had made a choice. Above her, the dragon boss laughed. It was a deep, rolling sound that vibrated through the station structure. The other leaders laughed with him, too loudly, too eagerly. The dragon boss lifted his glass. As he did, he felt something unusual beneath it. His claws paused. He looked down. The napkin was folded neatly, plain, human-made. The writing was crude compared to draconic script, but readable. He read it once. Then again, his expression did not change. Inside his mind, however, centuries of battle instinct woke instantly. His senses expanded, sharpening like blades. Heat gathered behind his eyes, ready to become flame. Without turning his head, he let his vision soften, using reflection and shadow. He studied the room the way a predator did, not focusing but absorbing. The waiter behind him suddenly stood out like a broken note in music. Too still, too calm, wrong. The dragon boss almost smiled. He continued talking, his voice smooth and relaxed, discussing trade routes and protection fees. He made a joke. The others laughed again, but his tail shifted slightly, just enough to bring it closer to the ground. His wings flexed a fraction. His guards, bonded to him through years of service, felt the change in the air. Something was coming. Mara moved to the far side of the casino floor. She forced herself not to look back. Looking back would draw attention. Attention meant death. She told herself she had done all she could. Time stretched. The fake waiter's hand moved. The dragon boss felt it before he saw it. The faint energy spike, the shift of intent. In one smooth motion, he leaned forward as if emphasizing a point in conversation. The blade flashed out where his heart had been. The world exploded into motion. The dragon boss roared, the sound shattering glasses across the room. His tail swept backward with terrifying speed, slamming into the assassin and launching him across the floor. Guards surged in, weapons firing, shields snapping into place. Screams filled the casino. Guests dove for cover. Tables overturned. Lights flickered as emergency systems activated. Mara was thrown off her feet by the shockwave. She hit the floor hard, air knocked from her lungs. She rolled instinctively, curling into herself as debris rained down. Through the chaos, she saw the dragon boss rise to his full height, wings spreading wide, fire spilling from his mouth in a controlled arc that melted a wall but spared the crowd. The assassin tried to move. He did not get far. Heavy restraints snapped around him as guards pinned him down. His weapon clattered across the floor, useless now. Security drones descended from the ceiling, sealing exits. The station went into lockdown. Mara pushed herself up slowly, her ears ringing. A guard grabbed her arm. "Staff, stay down," the guard growled. She nodded and complied, lowering her head. The dragon boss turned. His eyes swept the room once, then stopped on her. Mara felt the weight of his gaze like gravity. She kept her posture respectful, her face calm, though every instinct screamed at her to run. The dragon boss took one step toward her, then another. Each step shook the floor. Guards tensed, unsure. No human had ever been personally approached by him after an incident like this. He stopped in front of her. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he spoke. "You," he rumbled, his voice low but clear. "You saw him." It was not a question. Mara swallowed once. "Yes," she said simply. "Why warn me?" the dragon boss asked. "You had no obligation." She looked up just enough to meet his chest, not his eyes. "Because he was going to kill you," she said. "And no one else was watching." Silence followed. The dragon boss studied her as if she were something rare and unexpected. Finally, he let out a slow breath of smoke. "Interesting," he said. Around them, the most powerful criminals in the sector watched in stunned silence. A human waitress had saved a dragon boss's life. And the galaxy had just shifted, even if it did not know it yet. The casino station stayed locked down long after the fire stopped and the screams faded. Emergency lights painted the halls in slow red pulses. Guards dragged the wounded away. Drones hovered, scanning every living thing again and again, as if trying to understand how they had failed so badly the first time. The dragon boss returned to his private chamber at the top of the station. The room was wide and carved from dark stone brought from his homeworld. Gold lines ran through the floor like frozen fire. The air smelled faintly of smoke and old power. The captured assassin was forced to his knees in the center of the room. Heavy energy cuffs bound his arms and legs. His breathing was fast now, no longer calm or trained. Blood ran from a cut on his head where the dragon boss's tail had struck him. Around them stood the dragon boss's elite guards. Every one of them was dangerous. Every one of them had failed to see what a human waitress had seen. The dragon boss sat on his raised throne and stared down at the assassin. "You came close," he said quietly. The assassin laughed, short and sharp. "Close is enough. Your security is weak. Your pride made you blind." The dragon boss did not react with anger. He leaned forward slightly, resting his claws together. "No," he said, "my security was perfect, but perfection is predictable." The assassin said nothing. "Who sent you?" the dragon boss asked. The assassin smiled through blood. "You already know." The dragon boss exhaled slowly. He did know. There were only 3 groups bold enough to try something like this, and only one that believed dragons had grown slow. He gestured with one claw. "Remove him," he said. The guards dragged the assassin away, his laughter echoing down the hall until a heavy door sealed shut. The dragon boss remained still after that. His thoughts were not on revenge or punishment. They were on the human, Mara Lynn. She was being held in a small security room near the staff quarters. 2 guards stood outside, unsure what to do with her. She was not accused of anything. She was not cleared of anything either. She sat on a metal bench, hands folded in her lap. Her uniform was torn and stained from the chaos, but she did not try to fix it. Her body felt tired now that the danger had passed. The shaking came late. She replayed the moment again and again. The fake waiter's stance. The napkin. The dragon boss's eyes on her afterward. She did not regret what she had done, but she knew the galaxy was not kind to people who stood out. The door opened. The guards stepped aside. The dragon boss entered the room alone. Mara stood immediately and lowered her head. "Sit," the dragon boss said. She obeyed. For a moment he simply observed her. Up close she looked even smaller than he remembered. Fragile, no armor, no visible weapons, just a human with tired eyes and steady breathing. "You work here how long?" he asked. 6 months, Mara replied. "And before that?" "Other stations, other jobs," he nodded once. "You recognized danger faster than my guards, faster than machines, faster than psychic watchers." Mara hesitated. "Humans are used to it," she said carefully. "Explain," the dragon boss said. She chose her words slowly. "Most things in the galaxy are stronger than us. Bigger, faster, so we learn to watch, we notice small changes, when something feels wrong even if we don't know why." The dragon boss leaned back slightly. "Instinct." "Experience," Mara corrected gently. That amused him. A small curl of smoke escaped his nostrils. "You were not afraid?" he asked. "I was," she said honestly. "But fear doesn't stop danger. Watching does." The dragon boss was silent for a long time. "You could have walked away," he said. "You could have said nothing and survived." "Yes," she agreed. "Yet you warned me." "Yes." "Why?" She met his gaze this time just for a second. "Because power doesn't make someone invincible, it just makes them a bigger target." Something changed in the dragon boss's expression. Not anger, not surprise, respect. He stood. "You will not return to serving drinks." Mara's stomach tightened. She did not speak. "You will work for me now," he continued. "As an observer." Her eyes widened slightly. "Sir, you see threats before they exist," the dragon boss said. "I want that ability near me." "I'm not trained," Mara said quickly. "You are alive," he replied. "That is training enough." The next cycle, word spread through the station like quiet fire. The human waitress had not been punished. She had not been erased. She had been promoted. Some laughed at the idea. Others were nervous. A few powerful figures grew very quiet. Mara was given a new uniform. Simple, clean, no rank symbols, no weapons. She was told to stand near meetings and watch. Nothing more. At first the guards did not trust her. They watched her more closely than the guests. But after the second time she quietly pointed out a hidden drone that did not belong to the station. They started listening. After the third time she noticed a pattern of movement in a guest that suggested concealed explosives. They started respecting her. The dragon boss watched all of this from a distance. During meetings, he would sometimes glance at her. If she shook her head slightly, he relaxed. If she shifted her stance or narrowed her eyes, he adjusted his position. Deals began ending more smoothly. Assassination attempts dropped sharply. Other syndicates noticed. On a distant station, a crime lord was killed by a hidden blade during a private dinner. On another world, a leader vanished after trusting the wrong security chief. The dragon boss survived them all. Rumors spread. The dragon boss has human eyes now. The dragon boss listens to the weak. The dragon boss cannot be surprised anymore. Some tried to copy him. They hired humans, but they treated them like tools, not partners. Those humans did not stay long. One night, weeks later, the dragon boss called Mara to his private chamber again. "Sit," he said, gesturing to a lower platform this time, not the floor. She noticed that. "You have changed the balance," he said. "I didn't mean to," she replied. "That is why you did," he said. "Those who seek power always mean to change things. Humans change things by accident." He placed something on the table between them, a napkin. The same one she had written on, preserved, sealed, untouched by time. "I keep this," the dragon boss said, "not as a warning, as a lesson." Mara looked at it, then back at him. "What lesson?" she asked. "That survival is not about strength," he said. "It is about seeing the danger before it announces itself." Outside the chamber, the station moved calmly through space, unaware that its future, and perhaps the galaxy's, was quietly shifting. Because for the first time, one of the most powerful beings in existence had learned something vital from a human, and he was not going to forget it. The station drifted peacefully through space, but the calm was not real. It was the kind of calm that existed only because danger had learned to stay quiet. Mara Lin stood beside a wide viewport near the dragon boss's main chamber. Beyond the transparent barrier, stars stretched like cold fire. Ships passed at a distance, unaware of how many decisions inside this station shaped their futures. She had been with the dragon boss for several cycles now, long enough for rumors to harden into belief. Humans were watching, not soldiers, not warriors in armor. Just humans standing quietly at the edge of rooms, listening, observing, noticing what others ignored. Some syndicate leaders were angry about it. Others were afraid. A few were curious. One of them was the queen of HFY Syndicate, a being of living crystal and sound. She requested a private meeting with the dragon boss, claiming she wanted peace. Peace was rarely honest. The dragon boss agreed. The meeting chamber was prepared carefully. Scanners ran at maximum sensitivity. Guards were placed in layered formations. Human observers were positioned near entrances, exits, and reflective surfaces. Mara stood near a support pillar, her hands folded loosely. Her face was calm. Inside, her mind worked steadily. She did not look directly at the queen when she arrived. Instead, she watched how the queen's guards entered, their spacing, their silence. The way one of them adjusted his cloak twice, too quickly. The dragon boss greeted the queen politely. Their voices echoed through the chamber, calm and formal. They spoke of territory, of trade lanes, of shared enemies. Everything sounded reasonable, too reasonable. Mara's eyes drifted to the ceiling where light panels reflected faint shadows. One shadow moved when it should not have. A fraction late, a fraction wrong. She shifted her weight slightly. The dragon boss noticed. He did not react. He simply leaned one claw against the stone arm of his throne. The queen smiled, her crystalline body catching the light. "You have changed," she said. "You surround yourself with softer creatures now." The dragon boss returned the smile. "I surround myself with survivors." The queen's tone sharpened. "Survivors do not rule the galaxy." "No," the dragon boss replied, "but they outlive those who try." Mara felt it then, the pressure in the room. The kind that came before something broke. She took one slow step backward, placing herself closer to a guard she trusted. Her gaze locked on the shadow again. It split. Not visually, structurally. A cloaked device detached from the ceiling, dropping silently toward the dragon boss. At the same time, the guard who had adjusted his cloak reached inside it. Everything happened at once. Mara raised her hand. That was all. The dragon boss moved instantly, not away but forward. His wings snapped open, creating a shield of scale and force. Guards fired. Energy fields collided. The hidden device detonated harmlessly against a shield instead of a throne. The queen's guard never finished drawing his weapon. The room shook with sound and heat, but no one important died. When it ended, the queen stood frozen, her crystalline surface cracked. The dragon boss stared at her. "You came with hidden weapons," he said calmly. "You hid them well, almost perfectly." The queen's voice trembled, not with fear but with disbelief. "How?" He did not answer, he looked at Mara instead. "You saw it," he said. "Yes," she replied. "What did you see?" "A mistake," she said simply. "Two of them." The queen was escorted out under heavy guard. Her syndicate collapsed within days, not through war but through exposure. Information leaks, prevented strikes, failed betrayals. Others took notice. More meetings came, more tests, more traps. They all failed. Not because the dragon boss was stronger, but because he was no longer blind. Soon, other powers tried to adapt. They hired humans, they asked questions, they studied recordings, but they misunderstood the lesson. They thought humans had special senses. They were wrong. Humans paid attention because they had to. One night, long after a meeting ended, the dragon boss and Mara stood alone in the chamber. "You have changed the way power works," he said. "I just notice things," Mara replied. "That is enough," he said. "Empires fall because no one notices the small cracks." He turned to face her fully. "I will make this official," he said. "Humans under my protection will serve as observers across my territory, not servants, not shields, advisors." Mara nodded. "They'll need trust." "They will have it," the dragon boss said. "Anyone who harms them harms me." The message spread faster than any threat. Human ships were welcomed. Human crews were protected. Human warnings were taken seriously, and something unexpected happened. Violence dropped. Not everywhere, not completely, but enough to be noticed. Conflicts were stopped before they became wars. Assassinations failed before they were attempted. Betrayals were exposed early. The galaxy grew quieter. Some called it weakness. Others called it wisdom. Years later, long after Mara's hair had begun to gray, she stood once more in the casino station, now changed into something closer to a neutral ground than a den of crime. The dragon boss was older, slower, but still powerful. He watched a new human observer quietly guide a nervous alien guest away from a bad decision. The dragon boss reached into a small chest beside his throne and removed an old object. A napkin, faded, preserved, simple, a reminder, not of danger, but of the moment power learned to listen. In a galaxy filled with monsters, gods, and weapons that could burn worlds, the most important force turned out to be something small, a human noticing something wrong and choosing to speak.